is up? Coming back from the east side, getting back over the west side. What's that in the mirror? That's the daughter's car broken down. What'd you do to your car, daughter?
Nothing, it died on me.
Do you break cars like your older sister?
No. Mm-hmm. There's oil in that thing.
There's oil in it?
Yeah.
What is up? Just got done towing the Ford Escape here. Daughter broke down over on the other side of town. And it just needs an alternator. It's 10 years old. It isn't charging. Thought maybe the belt broke, but it's kind of funny that before this thing will run the battery quite low enough to not restart the car, the electronics already start shutting down. It starts saying a bunch of chimes in the dash, and then the power steering, which is electric, turns off and stuff like that. She happened to her in the middle of an intersection because she was trying to turn around and go back. And then when I pulled it up on my trailer, it was starting to miss, and she said that's what it was doing to her right before she turned it off last time. And it was already pulled up on the trailer. I couldn't open my doors on my trailer, but and I couldn't roll the windows down. And the back hatch is electric from the outside, and none of that stuff was working. So quickly, I just put it in reverse and got off the trailer. And then it actually, before I could pull it around my trailer and go to my Jeep to hook up the jumper cables to top off the battery, which I should have done the first time, it stalled. So I was like 15, 20 seconds from being stuck in this car on the trailer where I couldn't open the doors. Or the windows wouldn't go down. So, daughter probably could have pushed me back off the trailer. But it still sucked. I had to go through that. So we pushed it to the front. I put the jumper cables on for a few seconds, more like 5 minutes, and then to start it up, power steering came back, all that stuff, put it on the trailer. And then by the time I took it off the trailer here at home, it didn't have power steering again. But it started the engine. Isn't that crazy? And it was bucking and missing and all pissed off. So anyway, it was pretty warm over there, and I could probably do it now. You could probably almost change the alternator, but it ain't like the old cars where you could always change the alternator and starter and all that right on the side of the road. You almost always got to tow these damn things. Modern cars, that is. So there's a tensioner right over here. I'm thinking I'm probably just going to put my jack underneath the engine just to take the weight barely off and just pop these. I'm just going to take the motor mount off, I think, just to make it easy. And then I'll be able to see the tensioner right there. Just got to take it off. It looks like there's 2 bolts up here, and there might be one down below. I don't know. To get to the other one, we'll see. But anyway, gonna get to it. I don't know if I'll record everything, but it's just, this is usually most of these videos are just show and tell with my HVAC friends and peers and everybody else that subscribes. Not really always a how-to. The people that come here because I see like a vehicle come up in the title, they always think, "Oh, Dick, you didn't show me what you did to get this part out." And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't say it was a how-to." So don't be pissed. There's that. There's the tensioner right there, and down there, I can't see with all the light, but it's not a right there, down there at the bottom. It's a hex, it looks like a head of a bolt. You got to get a socket on or an end wrench on to move those. So if it was the kind of just had the square, like you're gonna put a 3/8 or ½ inch end of a ratchet in there, you'd almost get down there with the tool or whatever. But this is almost as bad as Honda in a way where they expect you to use, specialty tools. Man, I know I've changed the belt on this because I always usually do that every couple of years, and then keep the old one in the, change it when it's still good, and then keep the old one in the back for emergency. But you ain't changing this one so easy on the side of the road like most front wheel drives. So I do need to get something down in there. Can't remember what I did last time, but there ain't much room to get down in there. I might have just muscled it, who knows. It does flex somewhat. Might be time to make a tool for this. I have at least 3 of these 17 millimeters. Here's the 4th one that's in this set. So I could sacrifice one of these easy. Which one's the least cool? Probably this one. Thinking of cutting and re-welding this thing to make a tool to reach down there and get that. Because if you go to the dealerships, they have tools like that are custom, made for getting down to these nuts, or different things like this. So I could get this on the back, but then I can't reach it. Now, if I took this off, really, I probably just should. You just take these two off, which I do all the time, and then pop the two 10 millimeters or four 10 millimeters. This hole comes off, and then you could reach right straight down and get to the back side of the engine. Now, I was just trying to see what it'd be like to do without it, but I think I'm already to where I can't even get a tool down in there proper. I don't know what I used last time. Like I said, I was younger, probably just muscled it, but I don't feel like getting cuts, but I could just cut this and then weld a bar on it, and this was going to go right on there. So if I cut this probably about right here and then weld a bar going straight up, it's going to go right down in there. So let's see how this turned out. So before I got into HVAC in the mid-90s, I was a mechanic at a shop in the hillbilly area by Payson, and you made tools as needed. You could buy everything from Snap-on. You know, over half the cars were still carbureted that came in. So anyway, this should easily do the trick. So that now is our tool for taking this belt off on this car. This is a 17 millimeter box head cut in half, welded to an old piece of angle from a bed frame. A bed frame that slowly had pieces cut out of it over the years. For just using for scrap metal. So actually this piece of bed frame, this is just, I didn't do anything to it. That's how this piece of scrap was. So I just literally just cut the wrench in half and put it on there. So yeah, so use lots of extensions to get down to that bolt. That's down at the bottom of the alternator. You ain't doing this on this side of the road. Hell no. Shit. So not glad to do this with that camera really, but there's this bolt looks like it came out right there. Now this one's coming out right here, and it's out as long as it'll fit up through here. I have the engine jacked up off the motor mount. I actually lifted it up like another inch and a half or so above its normal level. I could get to that bolt a little better at the angle. Either that, or I needed like a 1-inch extension on the ratchet, which I didn't have. Also glad that this one came out this way, because if this nut would have came off first, I would have had to use, you know, socket on that. Oops, put the light back on. So this looks like it's gonna fit through there probably. I ain't doing it one-handed. All right, so there it is. It actually has an idler on it. So now the question is, do you replace the idler while it's out? Probably. Ooh. Dude, what the fuck? When I'm spinning this and spin it the other way, it slips. Look at that. Huh. So when it has a load on it, it's not like this, or is that a clutch? Wait a minute, hold on. Let me go the other way. Wow, there's a clutch. Okay, maybe it's supposed to be that way. What the fuck? Like maybe you let off the throttle, it's supposed to slip? Huh. I'm gonna have to put something in there and stop this alternator and see if that's a one-way clutch. I thought maybe the shaft was broke through the armature, which would make sense why I wasn't charging. And this is a single wire with that, so I imagine this probably just gets 12 volts to activate. So I was thinking of spinning it, see if it'll go on, but because watch there just be a fuse that's blown or a fusible link, and this is good. Shit. Speaking of that, this thing's still going. Looks like the battery's charged. I meant to turn this down. Yeah, I'm gonna get messing with it a little bit. Well, I'm assuming you just put 12 volts here to activate it, like old school alternators were. I spun the shit out of this thing, and it did not have any output, just got battery voltage. This is a one-way clutch. It's just probably a sprag in there, just like you have in the back of a automatic transmission. Likes to blow up on Chevys. So, time to go get another one. And I guess I should unbolt that in case this doesn't come with it. But I'm thinking I should get this also. Just got home after like 2 hours of finding one of these. And this is a one-way clutch on here. It's crazy. It's like a sprag. I did buy a new idler. Wasn't gonna this being down on the bottom, if that goes, wasn't gonna not put that on right now. So, yep. This goes in easier than it came out, but like I said, this is definitely not one that you're gonna do on the side of the road. Now they have this off, I can see shit down there. Oop, there's that one bolt goes this way. There's another water valve here. I had to change that one that's on the other side that caused that one code like 3 years ago. And it looks like the housing all goes on the side of the block, and there's your water pump if you need to get to it. So you're definitely gonna take the alternator off when you do that one. Again, like I said, I got the engine jacked up probably about 2 inches by the end, just to get to that bolt, because it's kind of all aiming towards the metal frame right there. Just everything's in the way. So I was trying to do this without taking as many things out, kind of thinking what it would be like on the side of the road, but hell no. Finally just had to take the coolant reservoir out, because this bottom bolt that goes through, yeah, you ain't getting that on the side of the road. This engine's jacked way up just to get to it. It's still at a funny angle, and with it came out at an angle with the weight of the alternator, kind of chewed up the thread almost a little bit, so it took me a little bit to get it started. I have it started now, but just want to show that is a mother effer right there. It's almost like, this one thing's almost like working on a Honda. Everything on a Honda is like this, but this section right here on this reminds me of working on Hondas. Hey, she lives. This was a MFR kind of, comparing to traditional old school, American V8 muscle and all that. I will say, if I was in a shop and you had the experience of doing one of these, you could probably do the next one in like an hour. You know the exact order I would take this tank out. Just take it out, jack up, take the motor mount out of the way, so you have all this area open. You'd have the specialty tool to get down there in a tensioner and just get that belt off. I wouldn't have spent 30 minutes welding to make that tool. And then you would know to take off, the 2 electrical connections, and then the 3 bolts. You know exactly where they were because you've done one. You worked in a Ford shop. You do this, like you do it in an hour because you know the order of it. It's just definitely not something you're gonna do on the side of the road, because that one bolt that goes through on the alternator is all the way down and it aims right for that metal frame right there. So I jacked the engine up. Now this thing only has a little over 100,000 miles on it, but it had a hard life when I drove it. I drove it pretty hard, drove the piss out of it since it was new. Then the wife had it. The wife used to just sit. She sits in her vehicles for like when she gets home, we'll get someplace. She sits there and runs the engine for like half an hour or an hour while she's just on the phone. So they get a lot more hours on the engines running the AC than it even goes on the odometer. She did that to this when she was driving it, and then it became the daughter's. So, and she races it. I noticed the engine's a little louder, but it's got the direct injection, actually direct injection only. So it sounds like you can hear that pump running off the cam up under the valve cover there. But it seems to still run okay. The daughter drives it pretty much every day, but she doesn't clean it so hot. So probably put some new headlight lenses on there, probably make it look a lot better. But it's still a nicer car for her than she had when she turned 16 than I had when we drove real beaters. So speaking of repairs, the Grand Cherokee, he was gone for over a week over at the dealership because it had an air leak in the front valve assembly. I think I put the video clips up, and I'm like, it's leaking. And I could buy the parts and probably just throw the parts in there, but I have extended warranty. I bought this used. And it's a 2020, and then it's already needed work on that air suspension, which I guess is a given. So anyway, got it back yesterday, and I paid a $100 copay, and they said it was over $7,000 to the warranty company. Now the warranty didn't even cost me that much, so I had them do the fluid motor mounts because they leaked after I got it, and the water pump because I saw the stains coming out of it. I had that done under warranty, within about 6 months of having it, and then now they put in the air compressor for the suspension, the valve box, and I think the left front strut, which is air. There's no springs on this thing at all. It's just all air. So which it actually works really well for putting a trailer on. It doesn't sag, it keeps it level. This thing's a tank. This thing's like almost 5,000 pounds, or is about 5,000 curb weight. And with me and the stuff I keep in it, when I went on the scales a couple weeks ago, it was 5,800 pounds. So I was worried about it when I got it, but for towing, but the trailer doesn't push it around at all because it is actually so heavy for being something that doesn't look, looks like a mid-size SUV. Maybe a regular large before you get the ultra big ones, but it's heavy. It's heavy, and it's all-wheel drive, and has all the heavy suspension under there. It's fun to drive. Hemi and all-wheel drive is pretty fun. Just like to have a supercharger on it, you know. So those Teslas can't kick my ass. But, all right, looks like this is good. I'll probably just take it for a spin, and the daughter should be ready. So anyway, that's gonna do it. It wasn't really a how-to video, so people don't get mad, but I kind of showed you some tips. So a couple tips there if you are going to change your alternator yourself. So give me views, good, but don't leave me all a bunch of hate comments because it wasn't a step-by-step. Didn't have somebody holding the camera and for me to do it, you know, and it was first time changing it on this car. With that, catch you guys later. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. There's no hate comments. I'll catch you guys later.